that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting from wherever you are watching for Season 10 of XSLR round number 15, live from Watkins, Glen International. I'm Adam Thomsen. Joining me as always, Ron Maunz, who's also behind the cameras. And tonight we head to probably one of the United States' most famous racetrack, Watkins Glen International, home to the 6 hours at the Glen. Of course, NASCAR Cup races here, and just a whole boatload of fun and good memories that have come from this racetrack, Ron.
Yeah, no, this racetrack is an absolute stunner. I adore the Glen, both to drive around and to commentate races of. This track puts on some amazing racing, no matter what kind of car you're racing here. I think the last time I got to cover a race here at Watkins Glen was a couple of weeks ago here on Slow Motion Broadcasting and the Sim Racers Group Formula 3 Championship. And speaking of, we'll be able to see those F3 cars hit the track here in XSLR in just a few weeks' time. In fact, before we get to the end of this month as well, for the final series of of this season of XSLR action. But no, Watkins Glen, an absolutely amazing racetrack. Got ahead of myself. I nearly said Daytona. That would be the next round of the championship in 2 weeks' time. But I adore Watkins Glen. I feel like these racers are probably going to have a bit more fun here than they have had over the past couple of weeks, it must be said.
Yes, it's a shorter racetrack, but lap time still in the close to the 2-minute range. This 3.36 mile track featuring 11 corners will be home to the TCRs here tonight as Brad Cathcart out on his outlap. But while we have a minute here, Ron, let's pull up those point standings and give people kind of a recap of what is going on here at XSLR. Adam Thomsen still out in front of the field with 322 points, with Jake Ham sitting right behind by 30 points with 292. But the man himself, who has dominated the road course section, Derek Folk, is at 285 points. Tyler Brown sitting in fourth, and rounding out the top five, Kevin Irwin with 198. Andy Kosick, Chad Gross, Brad Cathcart, Matt Lass, Dylan Vos, all rounding out the top 10, with Jason Greider, Joshua Sushi in 11th and 12th. 13th and 14th, Corey Patton, Tyler Coates, Colin Finland, who has not been here in a couple weeks. In 15th, Joshua Wilkie, who has failed to make an appearance in the road course section of XSLR so far. In 17th will go to Harrison Chandler. And then Charles Boschel sitting in 18th spot, who is here tonight. Edgar Cincinnelli, who has made a return here tonight as well, sitting in the 21st position with 7 points. So some big things there. Jimmy Howard and Jacob Schilling, 19th and 20th as well. And looks like it's only, both drivers are here tonight. So we have a big field of drivers, though, here tonight, Ron, as qualifying is underway here. Jim Brewster, who this is his first race at XSLR this season. So welcome to the 933 machine of Jim Brewster, driving the Hyundai. And he is rounding out his lap here as he gets ready to go down into the boot. That is what is turn number 6 through 8. He will head to turn 7, what they refer to as the toe of the boot. Some people get that confused with the heel, but note that is the toe of the boot as he heads down towards the heel. Also should tell people Tyler Coates has also now joined the session. So we actually have a very, very large field of drivers out here right now. And Jim Brewster about to complete his very first lap here at XSLR and season number 10. It'll be interesting to see what kind of lap times we're going to see as Corey Patton about to wrap up his lap as well. Coming down into turn number 11, the famous turn 11, where so many incidences have happened over the years, especially in the NASCAR rank. Saw Shane Van Gisbergen get spun by Connor Zilich there in the Xfinity Series as Corey Patton, now Edgar Cincinnelli, quick time, a 159.293. Corey Patton falls to second, a 159.460. Jim Brewster, a 159.8. And Brad Cathcart, who I'm surprised is not watching the Ashes Cricket Series tonight, 159.978 is now Chad Gross goes quick time with a 158.160. Charles Boschel goes 6 fastest with a 2-minute flat, 2.5 seconds. And Adam Thomsen, 157.729 quick time for the wet Thomsen, who I did have a conversation with this week, Ron. I actually had a conversation with him on New Year's Day. I reminded him to make sure that the pace lap is a short pace lap. Derek Falk goes in the second quick, 157.820. And by the way, he did forget to set it on this week, and I made sure that he made that change happen, because I don't think we were going to want to sit through 3 minutes of a pace lap.
See, I'm trying to remember how many VIR full pace laps I've had. There's only been like one shot where I actually enjoyed it, and that was a broadcast where we had like a 50-car starting grid. You know what? I'll raise you this here, Adam, as a good little story. So earlier today, I was on a different broadcast. It was a it was a Porsche Club of America broadcast on Race Spot TV. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, it's all a different network or anything of the sorts. It was one of those shows, first show of the season, and they got the times incorrect for when the show was meant to start. They wanted it to start at 11:30 Eastern time, and then they changed it to starting at 11:45. So we were braced for it to start 15 minutes later than they originally set it to be, and then they messed up the times of the session and the timing of it, so we ended up having to go live even earlier than 11:30, and we went live right as the formation lap started. A formation lap for a big field, multi-class field with GT3s and GTPs. I'm very lucky the fact we only had like 30-something cars, and we could not even go through the starting grid, just because by the time we went live, they were already starting the formation lap, and it was a short pace lap at Daytona too, so that was whiplash if ever it has been felt.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Jake Kim going third fastest, a 158.135. Still some additional drivers. We still got 4 drivers needing to put up a qualifying time here as Joshua Sushi comes across the line. He goes 13th fastest, a 2.5 minute. Second lap there. Tyler Brown, who has not put up a lap time yet. This will be his first official lap time on the board with less than 3 minutes to go here in qualifying. Where does he end up? He will go third fastest, a 158.122. So not the gap so far between first and second, only a half of a hundredth of a second.
And breaking it down into the small measurements like that, it really shows you that this field, even on these challenging TCR machines, it's still quite competitive.
Still pretty competitive. Tyler Brown 0.3 down, though, from that third place spot. He does bump Jake Ham down to fourth, and he has completed his qualifying. He did not get a faster lap time on the second go-around here. So we are now watching Tyler Coates, who has not put up a lap time. Andy Kosick, Jimmy Howitt are looking like they are not going to be putting up a lap time as well. So unless Tyler Coates has something in the bag here, it is going to be an Adam Thomsen pole, and maybe Tyler Brown has something in the bag as well. It's really going to depend on what those guys do. Adam Thomsen says his qualifying's done. 157.728 is the benchmark. Tyler Coates now coming up from the heel into turn 9 and gets ready. Oh, goes a little bit wide there. That turn, it's deadly. It's that elevation change. It's going up the hill, so your car is already going to have the natural state of gravity pulling it backwards, and then trying just to get it to turn. It's not a 90-degree turn. It's actually a little bit more than that. So here is Tyler Coates now to complete his second qualifying lap. Can he go to the pole?
I have my doubts.
No. Nope, he does not.
Actually, I think that this may be the start of his first qualifying lap, and promptly the end of his first qualifying lap.
Yeah. So he does not get to complete qualifying as time is expiring. Probably waited a little bit too long, and he will start in the back of the pack from the way it looks. So that is what we see there. There's Kevin Irwin, the cheese car, sitting right now in the 15th spot. Yeah, so a good field of drivers. Of course, the Audis taking up the top 3 positions with Jake Ham in the Honda Civic. And then you got Chad Gross, Matt Lassen in Audi, Corey Patton's in an Audi. A lot of Audi representation here tonight, Ron.
Yeah, a little bit surprising to see a lot of Audis throughout this field. Also, to anyone tuning into this broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, I put in a very important question into the YouTube chat, whether or not y'all are a fan of the cheese car or not. But interesting to see the paradigm once again shift here in this series, as looks like everybody is lining up. We do have a shortened pace lap, so let's take a look at the starting grid here, Adam, before we get this race rocking and rolling.
Starting on the pole position in the Audi in the 244, it's going to be Adam Thomsen on his outside. Also in an Audi, the 410 of Derek Folk, row 2. In an Audi, it's Tyler Brown in the 821 machine. And the only Honda so far in the top 5 is going to be Jake Ham in the 85. Chad Grossmath last in row number 3, both in Audis. And then the next Honda Civic on the grid, Edgar Sancinelli in the number 57, starting 7th. Corey Patton in an Audi as well, starting 8. Jake Schilling in 9th with Jim Brewster, both in Hyundais, and in outside of the top 10, Brad Cathcart in the 905 in a Hyundai as well. Charles Boschel driving the Honda Civic in the 021 machine, and Jason Grider starting 13th in the 552, also in an Audi. The Honda Civic of Joshua Sushi in the 29 machine, starting in 14th. 15th will go to Kevin Irwin in an Audi, and along with Andy Kosick starting 16th in an Audi. And then the final 2 starters, both in Hyundais, is Jimmy Howard and Tyler Cope. So 18 drivers starting this race here tonight. So a good packed field, and the formation lap has begun, and it's a short formation lap, so you don't have to hear us ramble on. We're going to get to green flag racing quite quickly here, and I imagine it's going to be a little bit interesting. A very big field of cars, and actually this is what you would normally see in a TCR race during the IMSA weekends, is around 18 to 25 cars. So good to see some more drivers participating here as we're getting ready to wrap up this series and get ready for the F3 cars next week at Daytona as well. Pace car pulls off, flagman with the green flag in his hands, and away we go. Adam Thomsen takes off immediately from the point, trying to get a big gap between him and Derek Folk. He'll sweep out to the outside as they go into turn 1. Derek Folk is there, and point back to last week, and we have some smoke, some tire lockup. Nobody's spinning out yet, as everybody actually does make it through turn 1 cleanly as we go up through the S's here on lap number 1. Adam Thomsen last week, big time penalties, made a mistake, got bumped and run, and then pulled into the pits, and that cost him time, and then towards the end of the race, ended up getting a 30-second penalty because of track limit or incident points, and so that dropped him down to 8th. So he is on the charge here to make sure he doesn't do what happened last week. That was so disappointing as we get ready to head down the chute.
Yeah, and Adam Thomsen getting off to a good start. We'll say Tyler Coates briefly had a black flag. Not sure what the deal was there, but that has now since been cleared. Andy Kosick, meanwhile, actually started the race from the pits. So, not sure what the deal is for some of these racers. We know for sure, though, that the battling is intense all throughout this field. Following Jason Grider, just got a move done on Jim Brewster not too long ago. So, Swaparoo continuing on there. A gap has formed in front of Charles Boschel, who's holding on to that P11 spot at the present moment. Let's look at that, battling nearly fanning out to 3 wide. Kevin Irwin in the cheese car with Jim Brewster and Jason Grider all around it. Interesting to point out, 2 Audis battling with the Hyundai. A little bit surprising considering how dominant the Hyundais were to start.
Yeah, the Hyundais really got off to a decent start, but as the race goes on, I think the Audi power is actually going to prove worthy of leading this race, as Adam Thomsen getting ready to complete lap number 1 and start lap number 2 with Derek Folk hot on his heels as we go into turn number 1 once again. You got Tyler Brown back there sitting in 3rd with Jake Ham hot on his heels as well. Turn back to last week at Road America. Jake Ham putting the bump and run onto Adam Thomsen to steal away a podium there, and then that really just was the chain reaction for Adam Thomsen, who ended up just having one of the worst races he could probably have had while leading the championship. because that's really put Jake Ham and Adam Thomsen now side by side as we get ready to go into the inner loop chicane. And Adam Thomsen on that inside line with the preferred line through there gets a little bit loosey-goosey, but manages to hold on. Derek Folk doing everything he can to try and find a way around the championship leader of Adam Thomsen, Tyler Brown, in third, watching this all unfold as we get ready to head right back down into the chute. Here comes the move now. Derek Folk taking a peek on the outside. If you're going to make a move there, it's going to be really tough. That's a wide turn to make a move on the outside. It doesn't happen, though, as Derek Folk slots in right behind Adam Thomsen again. But another passing opportunity here. This time he does have a little bit of a run. Can't sneak it down. He's going to have to throw a dive bomb if he wants to make a pass there. Doesn't happen. And Adam Thomsen covering off the apex quite nicely as we go through the heel and into turn number 9. Everybody still pointing forward here, but Tyler Coates, Jimmy Howard have had a crash.
Yeah, and that they have. Taken a look at a replay. I'm not sure if this was at the same time or what. Following Tyler Coates as he headed his way downtown to turn number 1. No! Dang it, I thought he was going to get away with that, but he did not. Jimmy Howard, meanwhile, has had a string of off-track excursions. I think one came shortly afterwards. Yeah, what in the world happened as he headed his way off there? I believe that is turn number 6. Yeah, just overshot the braking marker big time. Tried to goose up the throttle a little bit. Loosey-goosey as he headed his way down the hill into the boot section. And if there's one thing you do not want, both in racing and in life, period, it is a loose goose.
Yes, you are correct there, and that gave Jimmy Howard the meatball flag, so he decided to go back down to the pit. So his day is going to be done here. Now Derek Folk with the run here. He's got that front tire on the rear tire of Adam Thomsen. They're side by side as they go through the chicane. Who's going to break first? It was Derek Folk having to get right back around, and unfortunately he loses a lot of time there, bringing Derek Folk, Jake Ham, and Chad Gross into the fold here. But that was a huge loss of time, almost 0.3 of a second that Derek Folk lost there through the chicane as we now go down through the chute. It's going to be Tyler Brown hot on the heels of Derek Folk. Derek Folk trying to get back on the rear bumper of Adam Thomsen. Top 5, all within just a second and a half of each other. And it's going to get crazy. Actually, more like 1.7 seconds separating 1 through 5 right now.
It's still pretty damn close out there on the racetrack. Everybody trying to get a move done on one another, but it's tricky to do here at the Glen. One thing you can always say about Watkins is the fact that it is an old school racetrack at the core of it. You know, you look at this racetrack, and even with the updates that were done on iRacing a matter of about a season ago, this is still an old school circuit with old school challenge, old school flair, and some old school runoff area as well. One area that doesn't have any runoff area, though, is the final turn. Look at that. That is just a solid, safer barrier on the outside there. And earlier on in practice, Jake Ham actually had a pretty wild collision against that barrier and actually hit the pit attenuator. And speaking of the pit attenuator, Adam, we got to worry about those pit stops once more.
Yes, we do, and those pit stops should be coming shortly, I would imagine, probably in the next 6-7 laps for everybody to get fuel and maybe tires, because the tires are going to take a beating on a racetrack like this with the high-speed corners. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. Now, Derek Folk finding a little bit of pace here as we look further back to Jason Greider, has a slow down penalty for probably turn 1, if I had to imagine. Easiest place to get slow down penalty as we get ready to go down into the chicane with Jason Greider looking behind. That's a great way to bleed off some time, but you only get 30 seconds, so you make sure you get that time bled off quickly, because then that's even a bigger penalty when it comes to the pit stops here. There he goes. Now he's finally slowing down as Jake Ham has made the move on Tyler Brown for third. Tyler Brown losing the spot to Jake Ham, and who's right there? That's Chad Gross on the exhaust pipe of Tyler Brown. Chad Gross almost looks like he's giving him a bit of a push as we get ready to head into turn number 8, the heel of the boot section, and the gap starting to open back up between first and second and third So that is going to be interesting here. Derek Folk trying to get that run. He had a good run on to Adam Thomsen. Just it's hard to make him pass in the chicane in these cars. So he was just trying to figure out a way to make it happen, but decided to pull out of it. And if there's any time a move is going to happen, it's going to be in a turn one as J-Camp flashing the headlights at Derek Folk. Maybe a distraction tactic as we go into turn one, and Edgar Santinelli pulls into the pits here on lap number 5. And he will be our first pit stop as Jason Greider has now picked up a black flag, a penalty speeding into the pit lane, I would have to assume.
We actually had that black flag earlier. I don't think he served that slowdown penalty in time. Sorry, just to budge in there. I noticed that black flag earlier on, right as he started to slow. I think it was too little too late there.
Well, that's not good.
That's not
That's
ideal.
not good. It's not what you want to see. But Edgar Santinelli out of the pits, heading out of the pit lane here quickly. About 15 seconds in the pits as he will come out in 13th position here. These guys, the top 5, it's really 2 groups of battles here between first and second and third through 5th. That makes it very, very interesting. Is Jake Schilling trying to defend off our resident Australian, Brad Cathcart, who right behind the 185 of Jake Schilling. Jake Schilling had a kind of an interesting week last week, when you say, Ron.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that, yeah, I think there are a lot of people who were quite happy about leaving the last round of the championship there at Road America. It was a bitter way for the race to go for some. The one thing I distinctly remember from that broadcast was Adam getting struck by about 7 falling anvils and me doing an ad in a country accent for kettle bottom cereal, which I am surprised that our colleague and one of the drivers out there on the racetrack, Mr. Charles Bochelle, even decided to speak to me after that, because
And we have a crash report here. Kevin Irwin with some issue.
Oh,
what
no,
happened
don't tell
here?
me he did a new garden.
Coming out of the pit.
Oh, no, he was just glacially slow. And...
Oh.
I wonder if
Did
there's
something
some sort
happen?
of, yeah, like a hardware failure of some kind, because I'm getting 3 separate crash reports, and it's just him going at, 2 miles an hour. He's still slow out there on the racetrack. Let me look. He's slowly but surely building up speed.
But not enough. It's like I'm guessing it's something with the throttle pedal. What's his speedometer say?
It looks like he's, still going quick. It looks like he's gone back up to race speeds.
Where's my speedometer graphic, Ron?
I need to find it. Give me a second. I don't know why I've suddenly become Russian. Oh boy. Where in the world?
See, when you
is it
want
now?
results, everybody, you got to yell at Ron. If you want really good results, you just have to yell at him, and then he'll get it into gear. There it is.
I got it. It was one button, like 5 pixels, just buried in a sea of buttons and a sea of text. And even with my glasses on, I couldn't see that. But we have it up. He is going at speed. There we go. You can get anything in the world if you want, kids. Just make sure you scream at the people responsible.
Just yell at Ron. Just
amen.
If you need something, you just yell at Ron. Even if you have to fly to Philly to yell at Ron, that's okay. That is absolutely fine.
It's also because I'm hard of hearing.
That is also true, and have half a brain cell sometimes. So,
oh, that's generous.
Obviously, Santa Claus did not bring him the one thing he really wanted for Christmas. So, Adam Thomsen out in front still as we look back at. Yeah, we're still on Adam Thomsen. Derek Folk peeking a little bit on the inside, maybe trying to throw Adam Thomsen off just a little bit through the chicane. Thought there for a minute was Jake Schilling, but they have the same exact car, and except Schilling's in a Hyundai. That's the only difference between Adam Thomsen and Jake Schilling. They're both running a similar paint scheme.
Blue.
So it's just blue, not black, but okay, don't blame me, okay? Sometimes looking through a monitor, colors look the same.
It's a difference between an apple covered in spray paint and an apple covered in radiator fluid.
That's a good way of putting it. Well, Thomsen now still holding on to the race lead. It'll be curious to see the pit strategies happen here as Jake Ham. Oh, and Kevin Irwin's had a crash as well. He's got a meatball flag. So curious to see.
Off? I'm trying to figure it out right now because there's no indication that there was an issue. He didn't blow his motor up? No, he went off the circuit, and production software just has not caught it. So we're gonna run it back the old-fashioned way here, if it'll let me. Come on, okay, there we go, SDK. There, good SDK. You're doing good. Let's go back. It's like an old Benny Hill skit right now. I wonder if he hit the inside wall heading off of the chicane. No, he did not. Don't tell me I'm gonna have to rewind this back for a whole lap. I remember what we had to do for the dirt modifieds.
It looks fine there.
He got damaged somewhere. It's not saying when, but he got it.
He will head into the pit. Unfortunate issue there for the cheese car.
Shredded cheese.
Well, let's head back up to the race leaders here as Adam Thomsen pulled out a 0.7 of a second gap. Derek Folk kind of struggling here as Jake Ham is hot on his heels. Jason Grider, huge incident there for Jason Grider, sitting 15th and right in front of the leaders as well. Luckily was off the racetrack, and SDK didn't even pick that one up, but let's see what happened. Went for a slide, overcorrected, said thank you very much, have a nice day.
And, props are due to Jason Grider for driving that hoopty rod of an Audi off the track. You could hear the clunk as he drove over the manhole cover there. But he got out of the way as quickly and efficiently as he could in a car with two front wheels pointing in opposite directions. Kind of like my two front teeth, come to think of it. But Jason Grider with the meatball flag, not the first we've seen in this race. Probably will not be the last either.
Well, Adam Thomsen pulling out a 0.6 of a second gap, almost 0.7. Derek Folk, I think he's starting to struggle a little bit here. We are on lap 8 of 23. We're on round 10 of XSLR. Next week, well, going to the most famous racetrack in all of the United States. And that is Daytona!
I wonder how
I was going to do the whole thing.
Off the screen.
That's why I stopped. I'm like that. It's long ways. It is very gone. It's gone. But Daytona International Speedway Road Course next Sunday night to cap off the weekend. My favorite racetrack of all times, except I love the oval. The road course is a little iffy, but I love that super speedway. One of the most famous racetrack. It's the #1 most famous racetrack in all of American motorsport.
Sorry, I need to budge in. So obviously there's a little broadcast delay. So what we're saying and seeing right now is about 20 seconds delay to what's actually going out live on YouTube. And my father always has the TV at a steady click of about 75 on the volume. So as you were talking about Daytona, I just heard Daytona downstairs. It sounded just like an explosion of sound waves. I was laughing so hard I couldn't even reach the mute button, but that was just a small little note. Only I could hear that, and probably the neighbors 3 houses away, but yeah.
No, it's Philadelphia. they probably thought it was something else. So
everybody's drank themselves into a deep slumber after the outcome of the Eagles game earlier.
Again, they don't deserve anything. I'm just going to keep it there. Adam Thomsen, though, losing a bit of time. Derek Folk finding a little bit of life as well as pulled away from Jake Ham a little bit here. Jake Ham doing a great job maintaining position here and actually catching the leaders. So our championship leaders right now up in the top 3, not in order though, which was to be expected here with Derek Folk, the king of the road course. Ooh. Now Derek Folk, he thinks about making a move as Adam Thomsen does defend the inside and through the chicane once again. Derek Folk, though, doing everything he can to do he wants to do anything he can right now to get by Adam Thomsen, but the passing is going to be interesting. Oh. Moment of silence for the cheese car. All right, that's enough. Let's get back to racing here. Oh, man.
Actually, hang on. There we go.
Do you just have that thing on standby or something?
See, I was going to break out the harmonica, and I was like, nope, this would be funnier. And then So this is actually... That's a correct way to blow into this little, like, whistle thing. But I've learned that if you blow into it on the opposite end, it makes it a lot more high-pitched and funnier sounding. So,
well,
this is what I think about sitting alone in my room late at night. You could tell that I didn't have many friends, and still don't. Anyways, Derek Folk now leading this race. What's happened to Adam?
He is pulled... Oh, something happened, because now he's down to third. Here goes Jake Ham down the inside. He is going to be the new race leader here. So 2 different race leaders in the course of a corner as Jake Ham takes the point, but he's got Derek Folk, who I wouldn't trust him back there behind you, Jake. You did the bump and run on Adam Thomsen last week. Who's going to do the bump and run this week? And now they're getting ready to go down the back straight away. Jake Ham blocks off the move. Does not block off the inside. I do too. I got a bad feeling about this. No! Jake Ham gets taken out by his championship rival Adam Thomsen going into the chicane. Oh no. And Adam Thomsen also has a slowdown along with Derek Folk. Chad Gross has gone into second in the mayhem that we have just witnessed.
And here we go. It was heading down into the bus stop. Jason Grider had warned me in the interviews for the Formula V broadcast earlier on this weekend that it was going to be a point of contention, and that's exactly what happened there. Contact with Ham and Thomsen, the 2 championship rivals, coming to blows. The back of that Honda looking rather sour as, he clobbers another racer in the midst of all that trying to rejoin the track. I believe that may have potentially, no, it was not Tyler Brown. Is that Matt Last that he T-boned there?
That is Matt. Yes, that is Matt. Yeah, just looking what happened here. Jake. Oh.
Kept it going in a straight line. That is a Christmas miracle.
That's a Code Brown moment there if you were Matt Lass, and luckily he kept it pointed forward here. But some heavy damage for Jake Ham, who's going to be struggling. Nope, that's going to end it.
Yeah, and that car is capital W wrecked. That is a huge hit for him. Blown motor in the midst of that. He'll probably have to tow back to pit lane. Now that has broken it out up at the front. Chad Gross is leading this race over Derek Folk, over Adam Thomsen. As much as it's his series, I would be willing to bet my entire left leg that some sort of penalty gets levied to him. I say that was was pretty much a full-on conclusion. We called it before it even happened. We said, we
Yeah.
have a bad feeling about this, and sure enough, there was a reason for us to have a bad feeling about it.
Yeah, and then, that two cars do not go into a single lane. I mean, trying to pass in the bus stop is risky as it is. If you're one of the greats of the late braking, then maybe, but that was definitely not a move to make there, especially in this stage of the race. We weren't even at the halfway point, and pit stops haven't happened. And yeah, I'm going to be curious to see what penalties are going to be divvied out in that one, as Chad Gross on the point here, as we are getting ready for pit stops here, because this is the halfway point this time by. Actually, it was the last lap. So this lap is technically half of the race done. And you gotta wonder who's going to make that pit stop first, or do all three come at the same time? Is there going to be a little pit strategy done here? Is Adam Thomsen hounding Derek Folk? Is now Adam Thomsen is going to pit here first, and he will slow that car down. Looks like he recovers. We were also talking, how in the past, we have seen guys try and do the gear shift, trying to get that extra little speed through the pit lane on pit stops, Ron.
Not seeing that from Adam this week, because it bit him directly on the butt last week.
Yep, iRacing has patched that.
Oh, have they?
Yes.
Have they really?
That is no longer something you can do. I have tested this myself as well. You do get a black flag if you go mile per hour over. So they have absolutely patched that, and that is big news, I would say, in the world of iRacing esports.
Yeah, the amount of times that I've seen drivers run that, it's always kind of cool to commentate on that, especially commentating it with somebody who's never seen that before, which I have done before. There's some commentators I've worked with who will see that trick as basically being the work of black magic, but it's something that I've done myself. I was unaware of the fact that they had patched it, which overall I think is a good call.
Yeah, if iRacing is going to be the realistic racing simulator, they don't do that in real life or anything, so need to patch it, as now Derek Folk back out on the point by Chad Gross without the threat of Adam Thomsen behind him, as Adam Thomsen has fallen down to 7th, but he does have guys in front of him who have not pitted. Pretty much the entire top 6 have not pitted yet, and I would imagine that someone is going to pit in that top 6 this time, as we are winding down the laps here. Unfortunate for J Cam. He does use his quick repair, but he's sitting in 13th place. So he's got that car rebuilt, and it's brand stinking new. Unfortunately, he's got a long ways to go. Already 12 seconds behind Joshua Shushi. An unfortunate day for J-Cam, I would say. After a really good qualifying effort, really keeping up the pace with Derek Folk and Adam Thomsen, this is not going to bode well for his championship bid.
Yeah, it most definitely will not. J-Cam and Adam Thomsen, frankly, they've both been looking to do a bit of damage control as we've gone off into the road courses, but ever since we left the ARCA cars, things have been going from bad to worse, even worse still for J-Cam, as Charles Beauchel has come down pit lane in that Honda there, so we'll see him exit the pits right away, along with Jason Grider, who's in the pits right now as well. So seeing the pit stops continue on throughout this field. Do want to give some love to these two cars that we have on the shot right now. Brad Cathcart, of course, a XSLR and Weekend Warrior staple. Same could be said about Edgar Sancinelli, and Sancinelli actually won the Series Series admins for the American Muscle Series that will be returning here to Slow Motion Broadcasting on January 13th for a brand new season. And to catch all of that action, you can subscribe here to Slow Motion Broadcasting and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. See, it's a plug from me that isn't cheap. That's rare.
It's still cheap, but no, the American Muscle Series, very awesome to watch. You got some big name drivers in there. Of course, last season, where the track wasn't announced till pretty much the day, like right as the server was launching, which was very interesting to watch. Definitely threw kind of a loop into that series, but I really enjoyed watching those broadcasts of the American Muscle Series this last season. Definitely some really interesting racing that happens in that series. Of course, in the American Muscle Series, if you want to see Matt Malone try and not crash a Mustang, well, that's a series to watch.
And I believe he'll be back out there on the racetrack once again as, seeing a mistake down in pit lane for Chad Gross. He had to back it up into his pit stall. Derek Folk out and away. Adam Thomsen going to jump into second once more. Tyler Brown going to be slotted in third as Chad Gross may get being out of the pits. No, he will not. Corey Patton still yet to leave his pit stall. Bit of a long stop from him. Bit of a long stop for Chad Gross, moreover. 15.5 seconds down in the pit stall. In a minute down in pit lane over that, in fact. So very disastrous run through the pit lane for Chad Gross in that Zootlord Racing sponsored car, well, the Zootlord Racing car, I should say, one of the sponsors here of XSLR. A little bit of rhyming going on there, but Derek Folk running in that ZLR machine, holding on to a very comfortable lead as a result of all the chicanery that has gone down.
Well, Derek Folk now out to a 2-point lead over Adam Thomsen. And again, we can speculate, but we cannot confirm that Adam Thomsen will get a penalty for the incident earlier with Jay Cam into the bus stop that has sent Jay Cam down to 13th position, who has a very long ways to overcome to get even into the top 10. 3 drivers out of this race, though. Kevin Irwin, Tyler Coates, Jimmy Howett. And Tyler Coates is out. He's officially out now, but 3 drivers are retired. They're not coming back in this one. Seeing some big movers here. Andy Kosick up 7 spots from the start of this one, sitting in the top 10 in the 9th spot. Tyler Brown right where he qualified in 3rd place. Corey Patton and Jake Schilling up 3 spots, along with Brad Cathcart. And Jay Cam, the what we would call the biggest loser, -9 in this one here, just because of an incident, Ron.
Yeah, frankly, a tragic day behind the wheel for Jay Cam, and it all started with that incident. We'll take a look at it once again here and maybe slow it down a bit. I think that may be a good thing for us to do indeed. So I'll reel this back as far as I can. Hope to God that it will not put me on some random incident that happened about 16 laps prior to it. Let's cut it down to speed a little bit here as they head their way down into the turn. We'll follow it from the chopper cam. I think I may see if I can speed it up just a little bit here. Nope, that's way too fast. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, it's like a TV remote. You hit the pause button, it takes 50 minutes to pause. You hit the fast forward button, it's got to go at 16 million miles an hour. But there you can already see things going wrong for Derek Folk right up in front, and then Jay Cam and Thomsen. Yeah, there's. It goes back to what we said shortly after the incident happened. There's only so much you can do through that part of the racetrack in terms of going side by side. I know I always say when it comes to battling that it takes 2 to tango, but you don't want to tango on the lip of an active volcano.
Yeah, it's not a spot to overtake. It's kind of one of those things you really just have to be patient. This is the type of racetrack that you want to take advantage of the passing areas, and the chicane is not considered a passing area unless you got somebody who is just really slow, and you do have the run where you can get in front of them. But your passing zones, they're going to be turn 1 and turn 8. Those are really truly the passing zones. Good places to make passes at, get runs at. I mean, you can get a run and turn down into turn 8. As Jake Hammond had a crash.
Yeah, right as I was cutting the camera to see what exactly happened to Jason Grider, who was very slow, Jake Ham sliding his way off through the toe, and that is going to cost him even more time, maybe even a spot, as here comes Jim Brewster trying to get a move done on him. This is a battle for lucky P13 in this field at the moment, and there's going to be Jim jumping his way up into 13th, at least for now.
Well, and he takes advantage, of course, what we were just talking about, turn 8. Being a great area to try and make a pass in, and that is exactly what happened. But here's what happened to Jake Cam as he was coming into turn 7. Jake Cam, he just had too much speed into the car going up the hill, and that happens. I think there's some frustration there. I would say, Ron, just trying to really put the lap times in, and I think he's just frustrated overall with how this race has really gone for him.
Yeah, and you can't blame the man one bit. I would be frustrated too behind the wheel. Even if the incident was my fault, I would still be upset about just the set of circumstances that have led to this point here. He's going to be happy to see the back end of this racetrack and swap it out in not next week, but the week after here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, when we bring you action from round number 16, the final race for these TCR machines when the series rocks up to Daytona. There we go.
I'm proud of you, Ron. I'm surprised you could hold that for that long. Now there's going to be another explosion in Philly, guys.
If I crank up the microphone sensitivity, you're just going to hear it downstairs in about 10 seconds time.
But for Derek Falk right now, he is very happy with how his race is going because he's got a 3.3 second lead over Adam Thomsen. What he is hoping for is that Adam Thomsen has a problem. Because for Derek Falk to really get into this championship, he needs Adam Thomsen to have a night like what Jake Ham is going through right. And that is have a crash or have an incident and go to the back. And that is what he would like to see happen here tonight. No guarantees. Of course, Daytona next week might be a little interesting just with the high-speed nature of the racetrack. And truly, that is a racetrack where there's truly two places that you can really make a pass in if you are not multi-class racing, and that's of course turn 1 and then into turn number 5, or what they call NASCAR 1. So, or the turn right into NASCAR 1, and so it can create a little bit of an interesting race just with the way the Daytona road course circuit lays out. Of course, you have your horseshoe corners, with the International Horseshoe being turn 3, right? No, turn 4. Because they count the S's as 2 turn, right? I can't remember. I haven't driven Daytona International Speedway or Daytona road course in over in a year. So, plus I'm also getting ready for the Daytona 24 hours. So, definitely some practice needs to be done to remind myself how to drive that racetrack in a GTP coming up here the next couple of weeks. Of course, Andy Kosick now, 8th place. The man keeps just gaining spots, up 8 spots now here tonight since the drop of the green flag, and he's gotten by our resident Aussie, Brad Cathcart, which I imagine he is keeping one eye on his screen and the one eye over at the famous Ashes Cricket Series, the series between Australia and England, which Australia has already claimed the Ashes. They're in their final match of that series, so Guarantee you he's keeping one eye on that, Ron. So maybe a little bit of distraction happening there with now Jake Schilling. He has been up 3 spots tonight into the 6th spot, and he's got Edgar Santinelli hot on his heels here.
Yeah, catching me at an inopportune time right as I was blowing my nose. But yeah, Santinelli holding on to P7 at the moment. Jake Schilling able to withstand the challenges, at least for now. We'll have to see how this battling continues to develop throughout the rest of this race. I actually just saw a swapperoo, a brief swapperoo, it seemed like, between Andy Cossack and Brad Cathcart. Let's take a look at it here, as that was how Andy Cossack got the move on Brad Cathcart in the first place. He ran wide all through turn number 8 into my least favorite corner in the whole wide world, turn 9 here at the Watkins Glen boot configuration. He was able to get that spot fully. Andy Cossack currently holding on to 8th in the gray car. We usually see him in the teal machine, just a flat gray here this week, which you know, it looks like the sort of outdoor like vinyl decor that they have in a McDonald's nowadays. Like McDonald's always used to be such a restaurant of whimsy. Now you go there and it's painted in like depressing millennial beige.
Depressing?
Yeah, you look at it and you get sad. Like, the McDonald's around me used to have the play center, which was always fun. You know, when I was there, I never paid attention to the old men that would be lurking around there. I didn't really think about that at the time. Probably would now if I was a parent, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. I would go there. They would have the swivel chairs. It would be a fantastic place. Nowadays, if you go into McDonald's, you have to pay $14 for a Big Mac, and the inside of the place is just so unbelievably sterile and boring, despite not being sterile at all. They probably have Ebola in the freezer in a McDonald's.
Okay. Well, so we've all discovered something, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Ron hates McDonald's.
They do make a good hash brown. The orange juice is a crime against nature, though. You ever have an orange? You ever have a cup of orange juice from a McDonald's that they didn't really make properly?
No.
It basically tastes of what I think of when I think of vitamin C. But it doesn't taste like orange juice or anything related to oranges. It just tastes like a bad multivitamin concoction mixed with some not very high quality water. Like, I'll need Fiji to dissolve this concentrate, but I need something that doesn't taste like it was fished out of a pond or a sewage treatment tank.
So y'all heard it here first, folks. Ron Maunz hates McDonald's, which explains a lot.
They also discontinued my beloved, the buttermilk crispy chicken tenders, and replaced them with chicken tenders that are about as soulless and corporate as McDonald's itself.
You're not helping yourself here, Ron. The people of America will not stand for this.
And that's why you're running for president.
Oh boy, what have we turned into?
Mr. Adam Thomsen pays for these broadcasts. I want to give him some love. He pays for the comedy hour every week.
Is that what we call this?
It's comedy hour, Ron rants, and us having various conversations about various different topics.
How about we just do our job here? Jake Cam has had an incident. We'll be curious to see what happened to him. Let's see. Right on the hot of the heels of Jim Brewster. Yep, going too fast again.
Kept out of the fence.
Yeah. Still, just there is frustration behind the wheel of the 85 tonight. Like, oh,
it sounded like his engine cut out, heading down in there. I'm not sure if that was just like odd perspective. It looked like he didn't even downshift. So I want to see this actually from the cockpit cam. Wonder if that potentially played a role in it. Yeah, you can see it drops down in power. I wonder if he like clutched it in and just overcooked the speed heading down in there. Well, it looked
Yeah,
like at least.
that's what it looked like to me. So, yep, unfortunate there for him, as once again, Jake Ham having another incident, and it's just really rubbing salt in the wound at this point.
Yeah, I can't even say that's rubbing salt into the wounds. That's basically like rubbing citric acid into the wounds. It is just more kicks in the shins for Jake Ham. I think the one benefit, so to speak, that he can take out of this is the fact that he is not I mean, he is last of the cars out there on the track, but we have had 4 retirements from this race. Jason Grider, who's been one of the latest, I think he ran into some more trouble out there on the racetrack and decided to say, you know what, it's not my night. Kevin Irwin and the cheese car, unfortunately, that cheese got shredded a long time ago. Tyler Coates also ran into some difficulties, as well as Jimmy Howes, who I think dropped out quite early in this race. So it could be a heck of a lot worse for Jake Ham, but could be a heck of a lot better too.
Well, he was leading. He was leading this race going into the chicane and battling for a win here tonight on what has been just not a consistent season for the driver in the 85 machine. And he hasn't won a race in a long time, not since the second week of the season.
Oh, was that the broadcast that was in 30 FPS? I think I remember that. That was when my graphics card fried. Oh no, was that?
That was the first one.
Yeah.
That was the you were the first one where Harrison Chandler won that one. And then back-to-back weeks of oval wins by Jake Ham. So he hasn't won since week 3. And then Adam Thomsen made his infamous return in week 4 of the Arca Menard series.
Oh god.
And that's when all hell broke loose. Now Derek Falk has taken the white flag one more time around, a 3-second gap to Adam Thomsen. Tyler Brown sitting in 3rd, which he has had a very good season. He has been on the podium a few times and has been in contention a few times, and tonight is no different. Took advantage, of course, of the incident between Jake Ham and Adam Thomsen, and he is going to be on the podium tonight unless he has an issue. I guess it ain't over till it's over, right? It ain't over till it's over. Chad Gross, who was leading at one point, he is sitting in 4th. But our hard charger tonight, Andy Kosick, up 8 spots here at Watkins Glen. So a good race from him. He'll be satisfied with his run tonight, picking up some very crucial points in the championship. And there's Matt Last trying to battle with Charles Bochelle for the last spot in the top 10. Does have a bit of a run going down into the chicane, but Charles Bochelle doing a great job covering off the inside. Good run through the chicane as well. Gets a little bit more of a gap, actually over a second. Now 1.2 seconds. Let's head back out to the race leader of Derek Volk, who is now coming into the famous final turn of Watkins Glen, turn 11, where he claim yet another victory, makes it 3 in a row, 4 on the season. Derek Volk, your race winner here at Watkins Glen. Adam Thomsen will come home to 2nd, pending penalties. Tyler Brown will be 3rd. Chad Gross, good run from him tonight, up 1 spot into 4th. Corey Patton behind him, looking to secure that 5th place finish here. Edgar Sancinelli, though, really trying to push the issue, but it may not happen, as Corey Patton up 3 spots tonight will finish in 5th. Edgar Sancinelli will finish in 6th. Jake Schilling in 7th. Then 8th will go to Andy Kosick, up 8 spots tonight. Brad Cathcart, the resident Aussie, up 2 spots in the 9th. And Charles Bochelle still doing a defensive job here, and he will come home to the top 10 here tonight. And Matt Last, Joshua Shushi, Jim Brewster, and Jake Ham all outside of the top 10. Our retirements, Jason Greider, Kevin Irwin, Tyler Coates, Jimmy Howitt.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't know what they're planning here, but I don't have a good feeling about it.
Well, someone's going to get murdered.
Sounds like a 9 Philly to me. How?
Huh?
Did he Austin Powers himself? Oh my... Huh? What? Hang on. Hang on. Oh, I hear a driver revving in. Oh no. See, I'm hearing a lot of noise, but I'm not seeing a lot of movement. It's usually how my father described me in middle school. Give me a moment here.
Let's see. How did Adam Thomsen manage to pull this off? Goes into turn 1, gets to the wall, and
looks fairly tame for now. Trying to get some photos here, I think, before all hell began to break loose. There, I could hear the revving from Chad Gross. Oh, and there's a coming together. Oh, that was. Oh my God!
No!
Oh, he got center punched there by Jake Schilling, who just came in for the kill. Oh, that's what happened there. Okay, I see now. I understand.
Target acquired.
Yeah, no, well, I gotta roll this one back. This is yeah, there you can see him reappearing, and yeah, I'm going to make a request here. I'm going to put to the nose cam. We don't have any music rolling, so I don't have to cut that. I'm going to crank up the iRacing volume as loud as possible, so you can hear the ambiance of this collision. Let's listen in here real quick. Yeah, I realized I didn't have my. I realized I didn't have the iRacing audio on for that. I had muted the wrong audio source, so we're gonna run that back again. This time, actually doing my job properly. Let's listen.
Ron, just do your job.
Oh yeah, I love to hear that sound of an iRacing engine exploding. Sounds like a bunch of Tupperware being thrown into a sink. Alrighty, let's take a look at the results here to cover my butt after that massive screw up. He's still stuck. Okay, there he goes. He's gone.
All right, let's take a look at our final results. Derek Falk, your race winner. Adam Thomsen in second. Tyler Brown in third. That's your podium. Chad Gross will finish fourth with Corey Patton fifth. Sixth will go to Edgar Sancinelli. Jake Schilling in seventh. Our hard charger tonight, Andy Kosik up 8 spots, will finish in eighth. Brad Cathcart in 9th. Charles Boschel in 10th. Matt Last, Joshua Sushi, Jim Brewster, Jake Camp, Jason all finished outside of the top 10. And our retirements of Jason Greider, Kevin Irwin, Tyler Coates, Jimmy Howitt. So, where does that bring us? Well, it brings us to our post-race interviews, and we'll talk with the race winner first, Derek Falk, our race winner here tonight, going 3 for 3 here in the TCRs. That's got to feel very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a tough race out there tonight. We were all bunched up close. It was very tight, so a little room for error. I know we had a little bit of bumping and rubbing out there today. Certainly added a little bit more complexity. I know I was really pushing the tires, and toward the end there, I was a little worried about my fuel, but yeah, in the end was able to bring it home, and happy with the result.
Well, got into a battle with Adam Thomsen, Jake Ham, Chad Gross was in the mix. And of course, heading into the chicane, the three of you, Jake Ham and Adam Thomsen and yourself, trying to make it make two cars go into a single lane, and that didn't quite work out for really anybody there.
Yeah, that was a little risky going into there. I had a good run in from the toe, and I got a bump from Adam going into there, and decided to take the inside line to see if I could take it. And I honestly don't know what happened behind. I'll have to go back and watch the replay and see what happened. Next thing I know, there were cars there. Next thing, coming around that big carousel, there was no cars there. So I wasn't sure exactly what happened, but yeah, it was definitely a heated battle. These guys were pushing me extremely hard tonight. Definitely keeping me honest with little room for error.
Well, you get the job done, and I'm guessing you were probably sitting there going, well, shoot, Adam Thomsen found a way up in the second, but the guy who's sitting in second place in the championship, Jake Cam, finishing outside of the top 10. Are you still keeping an eye on that championship? Is it still game on?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I've looked at it a couple of times, but I kind of take it race by race. Really just want to have a good, clean race as much as possible and really try to enjoy ourselves out there on the track. I know sometimes accidents happen, things get heated, but ultimately try to keep a level head and try to keep it a fair playing field for everyone.
And who would you like to thank for your race win here tonight?
Yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to one of the biggest crews that I've run with XSLR. We had 18 drivers in here tonight, so it was a lot of fun having a packed lobby. Appreciate all you guys do at SMB, and give a big shout out to all the folks back at Zoot Lord Racing.
Well, congratulations, Derek. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
Excellent. Thank you.
Derek Folk, our race winner. Do we want to talk to Adam just yet, or should we let him be last? Because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about with him.
I'm just the one running the graphics, so I do not have rights.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Tyler Brown here next, our third place finisher, Tyler Brown. Tyler, a third place finish where you qualified tonight. It's got to feel pretty, especially after a big battle there with Chad Grove.
Yeah, with Gross. Yeah, it was a pretty decent battle, and then he had the pace on me, so I ended up just kind of falling back. And last week had me so scared because I ran out of fuel last week, but this week I was just like, I'm not running out of fuel, so I started fuel saving pretty hard, and then I think I ended up putting way too much on. But luckily enough,
Go ahead.
Luckily enough, Chad had some pit issues, and I ended up coming out ahead of him quite a ways and got the whole day.
Well, this has been a very consistent thing with you on the podium this year and this season, I should say, and it seems like you're getting quite comfortable being in these podium spots.
Yeah, let's hope we can keep it going.
Anybody you want to thank for the third place finish?
Yeah, I thank S&B for putting this on and making it all happen. XSLR for doing all the work that they do. And just my kiddos, man, they allow me to do this, and then they're not beating me up the whole time. So
that's good. Well, congratulations, Tyler. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Derek Folk, our third place finisher. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the man that we're all wanting to talk to, Adam Thomsen.
No, God! No!
Yeah. We got a lot to talk about here, Mr. Thomsen. First off, we're going to talk about the good. Second place. Finish here tonight. Good run.
The only good thing that happened.
You were running up front for a while. Unfortunately, Derek Folk did find a way past you, but it made it a really interesting race for yourself. But just, talk about getting on the podium once again here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I did. When it comes to the podium, I'm going to answer your questions as you ask them because I think I know how you're going to ask these. When it comes to that, I did exactly what I needed to do. I was able to steal a point away from Derek in qualifying and qualify P1, and then I finished P2, which helped. When it comes to the championship battle, that's what I got to do. Now, what happened, I'm not proud of, to be honest. That's not how I want to race this championship. That's not how I want to. It's not how I run this championship. It's not how I want to race in it either. And for that, it is my apologies go out to Jake 100%. that was not good.
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Of course, leading the race here, and you really, and Derek even said in his interview that, it was you guys were pushing him and having him, in second place, which is probably a little uncomfortable for him a little bit. He actually, he found a way by you, but then it was kind of tough after the pit cycles and everything to keep up with it.
It was. I mean, once he had gotten by, I mean, that incident is, yeah. I mean, how he got by is probably going to be looked at. Then I was seeing a little bit of red, and that's probably not the way to go racing, 100%. And that's what caused, I think, probably some things that happened after that. And I'm looking at it now, and I don't know, man. But yeah, after he got by, I was seeing a bit of red. I was probably overdriving the car a bit, and after the pit cycle, I came in because I had closed back to his back bumper and Chad's back bumper, and I was like, I got to come into the pits and just run my own race, just drive, and I backed it way off. After I came out of the pits, I was out here to drive. I was in the position I needed to be, and those last couple laps I did push to try to get the fastest lap, to try to steal another point away. But he got that fastest lap. I don't know if he got it in clean air or in the draft or what he did, but it just, I pushed a little bit too hard on those last two to be able to steal 2 points away. But no, absolutely, it was fun. I mean, looking back at the race, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, we're going to go into the negative of tonight, and that's, of course, the incident with J-Cam into the chicane.
Yep.
How do you view that from your point of view?
I view that as me. Hey, Ron, do you have a bleep button ready?
As long as you can, add in a small little break, I can try and cut it.
Okay.
So you can give
Okay. Here we go. Here it comes. I view that as me being a. That's all there is to it. I was trying to get them to battle through the bus stop. Jake was smart about it. He knew. I mean, there were 3 cars within 10 feet of each other, and Jake knew to lift. And I was like, oh, there's an opening there. And what really pisses me off the most is I mentioned going too wide in the bus stop in the driver's brief, and I said it's probably not a good idea to do it. You can probably do it, and you might get away with it, but 99% of the time, one car is going around, and that was Jake. That was 100 million% my fault. I looked at it after the race. I feel terrible about it. There's no blame to put on anybody but me.
Well, definitely a tough incident. Of course, it was 2 competitors. All 3 of you raced very hard. And both Ron and myself both said we got a bad feeling about something. We had a sense something was going to happen. It's hard to go too wide into the bus stop. In no matter what car you're in. So it was unfortunate, and as you admittedly said so. So
yeah.
But we'll go back to happier things. Who do you want to thank for a second place finishing here?
Yeah, first of all, you guys, obviously, I haven't been around as much. I've been in this game. It's called Roadcraft, by the way. Guys, don't buy it. It will absolutely suck up all of your time, 100%. So I really haven't been around in SMB. And plus military, I'm going on a couple trips here coming up. So it's one of those things that I do, but I haven't had the time to actually hang around with you, Adam. Well, I mean, you did pop in and kind of talk to me about your day. Which was great. But yeah, first of all, I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but yeah, you too. All of SMB as a whole, for doing what they do and allowing XSLR to get broadcasted is awesome. And thank you guys so much for allowing us to get shown to whoever's watching. Hey fans, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know you guys did up in the booth for sure. But definitely not least, I'm actually going to not name her last this time because she gets mad when I do. So Sarah is my rock. She's been just unbelievable. Taking care of Aspen again, the nursing school thing happening in March. She's doing unbelievable, and that is the biggest shout out I could ever give her. Is she's just absolutely the best woman on the face of the planet. Changed my mind. Anybody try to change my mind on that? And then obviously my daughter, I could hear her out there squealing in the background. She's learning how to talk. Not really, but she's learning her voices and finding new voices every day. So yeah, Aspen, yeah, keep being you, girl. You're doing great things at 9 months old. Annoying the shit out of me, and probably I'm losing a bit of hearing because of her. And I work around airplanes all day, so that tells you how loud she is. Finally, the league. I mean, what happened tonight was not good, 100%. And I'm going to take all the blame for that, especially being the league owner and the admin for what happened tonight. So again, 100% my apologies go out to Jake. That's not how I want to run races. That's not how we tell people to run races. So I am extremely sorry for that. But we had a big turnout tonight for XSLR, and I am so happy for that. I hope people keep coming around. I hope people don't look at me and go, oh, wow, the guy that runs this league is an absolute idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. No, I don't like to race like that, but I am so happy for the turnout, and we would not be able to put on these shows for you if we didn't have this amount of turnout. So thank you to all the league members. And finally, Derek Folk from Zoot Lord Racing put some money down as well, which is why he's up there on the top right of the screen. I hope, if Ron got it right, in the
that I did,
for the sponsorships. Yeah, thank you, Ron. So the sponsorships, man, Zoot Lord Racing, Jimmy Howitt, I've got to say it, Dead Daddy Motorsports. There's a long story behind that, but Jimmy, thank you so much for sponsoring the league. Kevin Irwin, Cheese, as he would like to say, Kevin Irwin sponsored the league as well. Stevie Ray from Ray Esports as well. For sponsoring the league. We have payouts, and the payouts are pretty big, $275 for first place. So yeah, and we're paying all the way out to fifth place. So again, massive shout out to everybody that's sponsoring the league, and yeah, that's it.
All right, well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week from Daytona.
You won't see me next week because we have an off week. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Do we have an off week next week?
That we do.
Yes.
Did your all right, I blame our graphic guy for that. So, we'll see you in a couple
I'm blaming you because you're the one talking, Adam. And you know what? I haven't given you any shit this whole time. So, get on it. Be better, Adam. Be better.
Goodbye. All right, thanks, Adam.
Oh, boy.
Adam Thomsen, our second place runner. I blame you, Ron. I didn't see the next.
Yeah, I was
graphics.
gonna say it's next week on SMB. Round number 16 at Daytona. Oh God,
As Ron Maunz attempts to almost kill himself there.
we'll have a good time here on SMB.
Well, that will do it. Ron, I mean, that was definitely an interesting race. Derek Folk goes 3 for 3. And what you all can do at home, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Also hit the like button. Hit the like button. If you don't hit that like button, this doesn't move up in the algorithm, and then people don't see your content. So by hitting that like button, that gets it up the algorithm, and more people see that. If you subscribe, of course, that helps us reach our ultimate goal right now of 5,000 subscribers here in 2026. Well, we got some other events coming up here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. The Sim Racers Group F4 will be back on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then the Sim Racers Group F3 on Wednesday, same time. The Weekend Warriors, the Formula V series, will head to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the road course. That's Saturday, January 10th at 2:30 in the afternoon. And then the Sim Racers Group returns again on Thursday, January 13th at 10 o'clock from Zolder. And then on Wednesday, January 14th, they will be back with the F3 car, Weekend Warriors Formula V, at 2:30 to kick off the weekend. And then here at Slow Motion Broadcasting, January 18th, we will be live from Daytona Road Course, and the return of the Liberty Bell League will be here Sunday, January 18th at 8:30 p.m. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but they will be back here as well. So, Ron, I had to yell at you a couple times, but thank you once again for the work on the cameras and on the commentary. And thank you to all at home watching and tuning in here for XSLR. My name is Adam Thomsen. For everyone here, Slow Motion Broadcasting and XSLR, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you 2 weeks for Daytona.